Like Americans would be drafted not to go and fight in the Middle East, but literally drafted to build shit in America. You're going to get a job, you're going to work, and we're literally going to make things. We're going to make our country great. We're going to build skyscrapers, bridges, infrastructure. We're going to work with our hands. We're going to have factories. We're going to be a productive nation that builds the future. That was the whole premise. And Americans would do it. It was that Americans would do the building, not Chinese, not Indians, not foreign labor, not outsourcing. Exactly. American labor, American builders, buying American, hiring American, American ingenuity and entrepreneurship and innovation and labor and companies would literally create our future. That was the idea of MAGA.
That's what I was thinking.
Exactly, and I completely agree with Nick on this one. And what happened with this MAGA idea? Seriously, what happened? I feel like Donald Trump doesn't care about MAGA anymore. He cares more about other countries than our own nation. And this is so shocking because also his slogan is America first, right? Donald Trump is busy with almost every nation in the world, every country in the world, but not with our own nation. Why? I have no idea. If someone knows the answer, please share it in the
Yeah, I'm with you, Per. Definitely.
It's
kind of
care more.
And that's inspiring. The idea that everybody would be drafted behind a common vision that we can all get behind, which is greatness, which we had, but which we have lost. This kind of momentum and initiative that we had, but we lost. We're an aging country. We're slowing down. We're in the twilight or the autumn of our time period as an empire and as a civilization. And people said, people would come forward from the Midwest, from flyover country, from the heartland, and they would go forward to DC to work in government, and they'd be part of this transformation. The factories would return, and people would go to the factories, and they would build things. Jobs. They'd make fucking cars. They would make airports. They would make bridges. We would build new cities, literally. And have kids and build houses. Like, yeah, we can do it. That was the idea. We can do it. And now here we are 10 years later, and the message is the opposite. You can't do it.
Yo, what's good, Stream Up?
We're not talented. We don't have the talent because you can't. We need immigrants. We need Venezuelans to do Uber. We need Salvadorians to pick the grapes. We need Indians to do our programming. We need Koreans to build our missiles. Like now we're getting the opposite.
I'm telling you, Elon was about to go crazy when the H-1B visas was up in the air. Like he was about to lose his fucking mind when he knew he couldn't hire no Indians for $5 an hour.
Trump 2016 was like, I don't care. We're gonna win. We're gonna take the country and make it great, and nothing will stop us. We're gonna cut the red tape, ignore the media. We're not gonna take donor money, and we're just gonna fucking do it. Like that was the idea. And now, here we are 10 years.
And that's the reason why everybody believed Trump too, is because he was already rich. So everybody's like, oh, so I mean, since he's already rich, we don't have to really worry about him taking money from donors because he's already rich. He doesn't need the money, right?
Later, and the message is like, we can't do anything. Politics is too difficult. It's political reality. I could send all the Chinese and illegal farmers home, and I guess that would make some people happy, but what are you going to do? Let the colleges go out of business? We don't have any talent here. We need Indians to do our jobs for us. And that it's less so the policy, because look, people are realistic. People know Rome wasn't built in a day. We want to build Rome in like 20 years, but it wasn't built in a day. Okay. But what is really crushing after 10 years is the message. And it's like Trump is getting old. His movement is getting old. America's getting old. And it feels like as Trump loses energy, as he has been defeated in a way, it feels like the movement is being defeated.
Yeah. Like I just said, he came in on a premise of, I'm going to stop all this bullshit. I have money. I don't need donors, so nobody can control me. I'm gonna be running everything my way or the highway, and we're gonna be running what's right.
Out of steam. We tried it. We thought we could do it. We can't. We gave it one last try, one last push. Make America great again. Let's do it. Never mind. Everyone go home. We actually do need the Indians. We lost. We were wrong. The elites were right. We're worthless. We need Chinese money. We need Indian programmers. That's the sense of dread. And this is why I said a year ago, it really is about the vibes. I said this a year ago. Trump is old. He's tired. He's not funny. He's low energy. He's monotonous. I said, and his movement is dead. Like, his movement is not dynamic. His movement has been captured. Look at who's at Mar-a-Lago. It's all grifters. When Trump started, it was all true believers. When Trump started, it was like him and like a dozen people with a dream. And they were bootstrapping it. They were just doing these rallies, flying by the seat of their pants. And they're like, can we win? I don't know. We're going to try. And all the careerists and all of the parasite political class, they hated Trump. Now they're all in Mar-a-Lago. Now Mar-a-Lago is just the king's court, and it's all ass kissers and brown nosers and grifters and shills and the worst people imaginable. His endorsements have become a business. Access to him, photos with him have become a business. Like, all of the shills from 15 are now on the inside. All the people that hated MAGA are now the biggest MAGA supporters. Trump has been fully assimilated. He has fully been compromised by the GOP. And there's nothing risky, nothing edgy. There's no entrepreneurial spirit. Look what happened to Elon Musk. Elon Musk came in. He was maybe the last push because he's a little younger and he bought Twitter and, you know, he's the rocket man and everything like that. Elon came in with Doge. He got chewed up and spit out in 3 months. Elon was a little bit of energy. Like, you know, he was kind of like a little shock therapy for MAGA. And he lasted 3 months. He said, we're going to come in and we're going to bring in all these young guys and we're just going to move fast and break things. We could just do things. Remember, that was we could just do things. We're going to cut $1 trillion from the deficit. He got chewed up and spit out in 3 months. And now look at where we are. Nothing that has been promised has come to fruition. Can we end the wars? No. Trump wants to go back to Afghanistan. We're bombing Iran. We're building a base in Gaza. Mass deportations, Trump says, not so fast. We actually need all the people. We need the illegal farm workers. We need the illegal hospitality workers. We need the illegal construction workers. We're going to shut down H-1Bs, foreign students. Not so fast. We need all those Asians to fund our universities and do all the jobs that Americans are too retarded to do. Cut the deficit, forget about it. Epstein files, they don't exist.
And that's what people don't understand. When they keep the immigrants here, that's literally what they're saying. You Americans are too dumb to do these jobs. Y'all are fucking idiots. So we're gonna get these guys over here who are way smarter than you Americans to do these jobs. That's literally what they're saying when they do this shit. Especially that deportation. That deportation was his thing. That build the wall was his shit, and we oh my goodness.
At home, well, get lost. Here we are a year in, your golden age. And it was rotten from the start because the donors got involved. And you have to understand that these things go hand in hand.
The AIPAC, boy, cannot be
When
AIPAC.
Trump started, he was not surrounded by the money. When Trump started, he funded his primary campaign with like $70 million. And it was just him and a small staff, and he was on Twitter, and that was it. And that's why it was energetic. That's why it was daring and risk-taking and exciting. And what happened really right after he won the election the first time in 17 and 18, as in all of the interests surrounded him, the money, the shills, the personnel, the bureaucrats. And the second that happened, they poisoned the well. And suddenly it became cautious and conventional and boring and safe. And suddenly it became about everyone getting a handout. It became about patronage. Everybody getting their back scratched. Everybody getting taken care of under the table. Israel lobby, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, the corporate tax cuts, moving the embassy. It became about everything other than the people. These things go hand in hand. And this is what I said last year. Like all of these ideas that we talk about on the show, about personnel, about the Israel lobby, about the Trump campaign, about why things aren't happening quickly or at all these things are deeply related. If the Heritage Foundation is controlled by Israel lobbyists, if the Republican Party is controlled by the Israel lobby and the interests, if they're policing the young people in the speech, if they're working for the donors and the rich, then you're never going to get the good policy. You're never going to get your American revival. They're fucking killing our country.
Right.
Every time the president.
That's why it's like the only way we're gonna really get a revival is if we get new people in there who aren't backed by AIPAC. A name I keep hearing around is I think Thomas Massey. So I'm gonna definitely check him out. But I definitely hear him as a name that people are definitely looking at for who's not taking money from AIPAC. But even then, how much money would it take for him to take money from AIPAC, and how long would it take for Israel to try to kill him? So it's like,
President of the United States says we have to take care of the universities before the young people. We have to take care of Hyundai and the South Koreans before we train up our own workforce. They're killing our country. They're murdering our country. In order to satisfy all the special interests and give the political kickbacks, we're literally murdering our country. And the whole idea behind Trumpism is that we could transcend the petty politics, the wheeling and dealing, the quid pro quo, the money power. The idea was if we could transcend that, if we could have the people elect one leader, and if he wasn't beholden to the interests, he could get in, hire the right people, and just fix it. And everybody'd be unhappy. The media'd be pissed. Everybody'd be pissed. There'd be pain and economic pain and maybe chaos. But with a firm hand and with consistency and with leadership, that we could actually revive the country. We would have to break the back of all these self-perpetuating systems that have gotten us to this point. That was the whole idea. That's what made it interesting and exciting and worth supporting. And the second that it backslid into everything that came before, that's when I jumped off. That's when I said, I'm out. But all the idiots stuck around because, a lot of them, they just caught on way too late. A lot of people got red-pilled in like 2021. A lot of the people that voted for Trump in 24, they became conservative after the pandemic. They weren't there for the first time. And so their support for Trump is just like a generic conservatism. It's like a generic reaction to the excesses of the left. And so they weren't there for that magical campaign. They weren't there for that populist moment. And that's why they were sold a bunch of crap by propagandists on Twitter who were telling them it's going to be a never-ending Creed concert. We're going to be drinking Code Red Mountain Dew and playing Xbox, and it's going to be the golden age. Vivek Ramaswamy and Tulsi Gabbard are going to put America first or whatever. Like they were just not prepared for that. And now here we are. I was right. I told you so. This is not MAGA. There is nothing MAGA about any of this. This is not America first. None of this is putting Americans first. Every promise has been broken. There are no real victories. Trump has not delivered. It has been one disappointment after another, and that is because of corruption. That is because the Trump regime, just like every other regime, has been corrupted by money. That's the bottom line. You have been disappointed. You fell for it again. You believed them when they made a promise, which they never intended to keep. They said things to you to get your vote, knowing full well that once they got it, they were going to work for the donors.
I'm telling you, like, once you go down the rabbit hole and see what's really going on, everything makes sense. I'm telling you, everything makes perfect sense once you realize who runs everything, how they run it, why they running it, when they started running it, why people are scared to go against it. You'll see everybody. Oh, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. I'm telling you.
That's who pays for the cabinet appointments and the ambassadorships. That's who captures the bureaucracy. And that is why the system is sclerotic. That is why the system is slow and broken and unanswerable to the people and not even thinking about the people. And you're almost better off with Biden than with this. This is just like criminal stuff. And I'm not saying I'm at 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't care. But all Trump seems to have done, he's just as bad as the Democrats. The only difference is Trump has given people a false sense of victory.
Hope, I would say.
Trump has lulled people into complacency.
Yeah.
Everybody thought the people triumphed when Trump won. He's different. He's talking like the rest of us. That's what is particularly sinister about the Trump movement, is the way that it functioned as a Trojan horse. Biden was worse. Kamala would have been worse. But at least with Kamala, nobody would be under any illusions.
Right.
Would Kamala be better? No, she would have been far worse. The economy would be worse. Immigration would be worse. It all would be worse. But here's what matters, and here's the difference. Nobody would be under any illusions about what it is. That it's illegitimate. The elections are fake. The government's corrupt. She's not really in charge. The system hates us. There'd be no love lost there. And everybody would be acutely aware of the problem. You'd have righteous indignation. You'd have anger. There'd be a revolutionary fervor. But instead, with Trump, you get the pressure release valve. And no matter what he says or what he does, 50% of his audience, he has this diehard base of supporters. They'll support it no matter what. If he bombs Iran, they'll support it. If he brings in 500,000 Chinese students, they'll say he doesn't really mean it. If he fails to deport people, they'll say, well, who cares? The border's secure, so what? That's the problem. And so this is when you start to begin to think politically and start to think about what our real end game is. My end game is not to elect Republicans and be marginally better than the Democrats. No, my end game is I do want an energetic president. I want an energetic, forward-thinking, progressive, disruptive, populist executive branch that is going to fucking break the back of the power in the country and put Americans first. No more kickbacks, no more deals, no more corruption, no more special interests, no more super PACs. We literally need a real leader that is actually popular and in control with agency, someone smart to get in, fire everybody, bring in his own people, and literally make the trains run on time. Literally build the new cities, raise the skyscrapers from the ground, build the factories, put us on a war footing, make the fucking country great again. That's all I'm interested in. If it's not that, I don't want it.
Facts. But that was the promise that Donald Trump really gave to us with the Make America Great Again, was that, I'm going to be bringing in the factories. We're going to get jobs in America. We're going to be fixing, everything's going to be American. We're going to be doing everything the American way. And it's been a lie the whole time. It's just been fucking, like he said, a disappointment, man. It's annoying to see that, other like MAGA people who voted for him are like so diehard they can't like see, like, I have never been against criticizing anybody. Like nobody's against criticism, so even if I voted for him or not. But yeah, it just was a big disappointment dealing with him this year, or since he's been in, because he's just been beholden to every other nation, especially Israel, with besides and not America. So yeah, I definitely agree with Nick as usual. He's always spitting. I don't usually never disagree with Nick. He's usually right about what he's talking about.
Perfect.